I don't think we could have written the slate any better for the endurance ride yesterday as far as the weather went. The air was blowing fairly heavily and the temperature had cooled dramatically from the previous weeks. We saw very little overheating. The ground was still terribly hard from the lack of rain we've had in the last bit. And the initial phase of the endurance ride, probably up until the third loop, beginning of the fourth loop, we saw just lameness issues, most of them associated with the feet and some front fetlocks, lower joints. As the day progressed into the fourth loop, we began to see some metabolic diseases appear. We saw some dehydration and then the secondary effects of dehydration as they impacted the horses' bodies. All of the horses really made it through, other than with subtle lamenesses and some metabolic things which we were able to deal with quite efficiently at the recovery center. All the horses made it through quite well during the night and are doing great this morning. We were fortunate enough to have a really fantastic group of veterinarians to staff it, along with some veterinary students through the AAP from American Vet Schools, and then our general tech staff at Root and Riddle. We were able to deal with everything as it came in a very rapid basis. We had 12 treatment stalls, which we often kept completely full with horses that were receiving fluid therapy, and we really finished everything up at around 1:30, 2 o'clock in the morning this morning, bringing the last horse back up to the stabling area. Fortunately, nothing had to be ambulanced off over to the hospital for any significant treatment. Last night we were able to manage everything in the recovery center and then bring them back to their own stalls and let them enjoy the rest of the evening. The completion rate during the ride was the highest that it's ever been at any world championship. 55% of the horses that began the ride finished the ride, and that seems very low to many of us that aren't involved with endurance, but is really for the running 100 miles, being evaluated 7 times during, or 8 times really, with the start during the ride for metabolic status, soundness, and general health is pretty incredible. So we had a lot of horses, yes, that were eliminated for subtle lamenesses, for diminishing metabolic problems, and then a couple of horses that were continuing on, but the teams were concerned about how the horses were doing, and so they removed them from the competition. And every one of the horses we saw at the recovery center as they were withdrawn, evaluated them. Every single horse, thanks to Abaxis, had free blood work run on them, and then thanks to Root and Riddle, all the treatment was free to all the horses, and we provided post-competition fluid therapy and medications to everybody that needed it as it went. We're looking at multiple horses that had subtle lameness issues that we treated with fluid therapy and anti-inflammatories, gave them the night, and then we're reevaluating them today. As a matter of fact, we have one here in the clinic right now that had some swelling around a tendon and was a little unsound at the end of the ride, and it's come back after icing and anti-inflammatories. Is sound today, and we're just going to check through diagnostics to see how that looks.
We've had a very successful team competition in Reining so far. It's been very exciting with the United States winning. The horses have been doing well. The arena surface has been working very well. We've had absolutely no injuries during the competition and have been very pleased. The individual competition will start today, and it looks like it's going to be a tight one. The dressage horses have been up early, going ahead and doing some training out in the main arena. They've started competition now, and that will be going on, obviously, for the rest of the day. The main thing with the dressage horses appears to be finding a quiet pathway for them to get to the arena, but we've done that, and if they don't melt in the rain, we expect a great competition today.